All right, fourth grade. So who can remind me of what method we just learned yesterday for how to divide? Starts with the letter P. Tegan.
Partial quotients.
Partial quotients. You're exactly right. So we learned how to use partial quotients. So I want everyone should be on page 94 in their student workbook. I'm going to share my screen. We're going to do one or two as a warm-up to kind of remind ourselves of how we use partial quotient. All right, can everyone see my page? All righty. So up here, remember, we're going to cross off standard algorithm because that's not what you're using. Make sure you write this in your book. We're going to write solve using partial quotients. Because we want to remember that's the method that we're using. Alrighty, so first we need to set up our bracket. So Reese, what number am I going to put on the inside of my bracket?
You're going to put 84.
84. And then what will I put on the outside of my bracket? What number?
2.
2. So we have 84 divided by 2. Next, I'm going to draw my work bar. All right, so we need to think. 2 times what will get me close to 84? Who remembers what multiples we can think of first when we're using partial quotients? Nolan?
2 times 10.
What was that? Say that one more time.
2 times 10.
Right, so we can think we can use 10. I'm going to write 10 to the right of my work bar, but still kind of below 84. All right, Nolan, so we want to take 10 groups of 2. So what is 10 groups of 2, Nolan?
20.
20. And what do I need to do next in my problem, Nolan?
Subtract 84 with 20.
And what do I get when I do that?
64.
54. So do 4 minus 0 is 4, and 8 minus 2 is 6. Let's see. Sophia, am I all finished with my dividing, or do I need to continue? I can't hear you, Sophia.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you have to kind of hold your microphone closer to your mouth. I think that'll help. All right, so am I all finished?
I don't have my microphone.
Oh, okay.
But can you hear me?
Yeah, we can still hear you.
Okay. You're not done because the 64 is bigger than the 2, and it needs to be smaller.
So 64 is still bigger than our divisor. So now, Sophia, 2 times what will get me close to 64? So we can also still think of multiples of 10. So how many groups do we want to take for this time, Sophia?
You can do 20. Or wait. Can you hear me? Yeah. Okay, just 20.
Yeah, we can take 20.
Yeah.
Because what's 20 groups of 2, Sophia? What's 20 times 2?
40.
40. And that's still less than 64. So we can take 20 groups.
Ms. Gabine, can you point out where their numbers on the right of the work bar should be in relation to like the 20 and the 40? Boys and girls, pay close attention to this because a lot of people who have sent me their work, I'm seeing this is just an organizational tip to help keep you in line.
So here, you see how my 10 is on the right here, but it matches up with my 20. This is reminding me that 10 times 2 equals 20. Same down here, my 20 down here lines up with my 40 because 20 times 2 equals 40. So it's really good if you can match up these and make them next to each other because it'll help you when you go to add up at the end and you won't get confused on what numbers go with what. All right, Sophia, I kind of showed you what we need to do next, but after we multiply, we would do what?
Subtract.
Subtract. So then 64 minus 40 is
24.
24. All right, Zoe, am I done dividing or do I still need to keep on going?
You still need to keep on going
Why do I need to keep going?
because you're at 24 and that's bigger than 2.
Right, 24 is still bigger than our divisor, so that means we can still take more groups of 2. So Zoe, 2 times what will get me close to 24? And keep thinking about those multiples of 10.
2
if that
times
makes it-
10.
2 times 10. So what is 2 times 10, Zoe?
2 times 10 is 20.
20. And then what do I need to do next?
You need to subtract 20 minus 24, or 24 minus 20.
Right, and what is that, Zoe?
4.
4. All right, so Sunny, I have 4 left. Does that mean I still can keep going or am I all done?
You can keep going.
Right, because 4 is still bigger than 2, our divisor. Now I need to think 2 times what will get me close to 4. What is that, Sunny?
2.
2. What's 2 times 4, Sunny?
4.
4. And then what's my next step?
Just subtract 4 minus 4.
And I'm left with 0. So do I have a remainder for this problem, Sunny?
No.
No. All right, and Sunny, what do I need to do to find my final answer, my final quotient?
You add 10 plus 20 plus 10 plus 2.
All right, I need to add up all of my partial quotients. So I add up 0 plus 0 plus 0 plus 2 is 2. And then 1 plus 2 plus 1 is 3. So my final answer, Sunny, is
32.
32. I can write it up here and I can also write it on top of my bracket. So 84 divided by 2 is 32. So based off what we can see here, how could we have taken out the groups differently so we would have less steps? What could we have done differently so we would have had less steps? Chase?
At the beginning, you could have done 2 times 40.
Right. We could have just taken 40 groups right away since we know 40 times 2 equals 80. We can kind of see that now since we have a 10 and a 10 and a 20. But at the beginning, we might not know that right off the top of our heads. So that's why it's okay to take multiple steps as long as we still get to the same answer. So if we would have started with 40, we would have just had less steps. We would have taken a group of 40 and then we would have just had to take a group of 2. Right, so how can I check to make sure that I did my division properly? How would I be able to check? Zoe, how would I check?
You would check by looking on a calculator.
Well, we could use our calculator, but what would we have to use on our calculator? What would we do?
Oh, we would do 2 divided by 84.
Well, divided by, what's the opposite of division?
Multiplication.
Multiplication, so we can multiply. So what number are we going to start with in our multiplication problem?
2 times 2.
Right, 32 times 2. And I'll just show you on my calculator here. 32 times 2 equals, oh,
Miss Gabine, we have a couple hands up. Elijah, what did you want to share?
Elijah, what did I do wrong? Did I miss something?
You didn't miss anything. It's just when you were adding the numbers up, you only put 30 and you skipped the 10.
You know what? You are right. 1 plus 2
I
plus
bet,
1 is
I bet you
4.
guys should have let Miss Gabine do her multiplication. That would have been a good example of how multiplying really does help you find your mistake, because if you would have multiplied, what was it, 32 times 2, what would you have gotten, Elijah? What's 32 times 2?
64,
And what was our beginning dividend?
84.
So how would that tell you that you made a mistake somewhere?
Because you're still 10 off. Or no, you're still 20 off.
20 off. So your answer for 32 times 2 would have given you 64. And if you see that that doesn't match your dividend, that should tell you, I better go back because there's a mistake somewhere. So that's a great example of why it is important to check using multiplication. Now, Zoe, you are right, though. We could have put, you wouldn't put 2 divided by 84 in the calculator, because look what I get. What, my windows. Can you see that number? See that big long decimal?
Yeah.
So why did that give me a decimal? 2 divided by 84.
Because 2 is smaller than 84.
So what should I punch in my calculator to check if I'm using division?
2 times, or not
Nope. I want you to do the actual problem. Let's say you didn't have to work it out. What would you put in your calculator?
2. I would put 2.
Nope. Look at number 1. What's the problem?
84 divided by 2.
That's what you put in the calculator. 84 divide 2, enter. What's my answer?
42.
Does that match up with what you guys got using the partial quotients method? Yep. So you're right. You could just punch it in your calculator using division too. The only difference is if there's a remainder, it's going to give it to you as a decimal. It doesn't actually say or whatever.
All right. So see, that's how when I checked with my multiplication, that's how we realized that I did something wrong in my problems. That's why it's good to check to make sure that your answer when you multiply matches your dividend. So now if I did 42 times 2, now that we fixed our problem, that will give me 84. So that means that our answer is 42. Alrighty. Let's work on the next one. We have 84 divided by 4. So Nina, how am I going to set up my bracket? What number is going to go inside the bracket?
84 will go inside the bracket and 4 will go outside of the bracket.
Right. Ready, then I'm going to draw my work bar down the side. All right, so Jack. Now I'm doing 84 divided by 4. I need to think 4 times what will get me close to 84.
4 times 10 equals 40.
Right, so we can do 10. We can take 10 groups, and you already told me 10 groups of 4 is 40. So I can write 40. And then what would I do next, Jack?
We can try and do 10 again.
Well, what do I need to do first to know how much I have left to divide?
Oh, wait. 84 minus 40 equals 44.
Right. Yes, we need to subtract first so we know how much we have left to divide. But you are right, we still have more to divide, so we can take more groups out. So Jack says we can take another group of 10. What's 10 times 4 again, Jack?
10 times 4 is 40.
40. And then what do I need to do now to see how much I have left?
44 from 40, and that equals 4.
All right, so I'm going to do 44 minus 40, and then I'm left with 4. So Jack, am I all finished, or can I continue dividing?
You can continue.
Yeah, I can continue, because remember the number down here when we're all done is going to be less than our divisor. So 4 is still equal to our divisor, because our divisor is 4. So that means we can still keep going. So Jack, 4 divided by 4? 4 times what will get me close to 4?
4 times 1.
And what's 4 times 1?
4 times 1 is 4.
Right. And then when I subtract, I'm left with what?
0.
0. All right, so Soren, what do I need to do to find my final quotient? I have
Hold
all
on
my
one
partial.
second, Miss Gabine. Sonny, what part are you confused with?
So
Hold on, Soren.
I'm confused, like how we're getting like 40 and like 20. That's like the only part I'm confused about.
Underneath the 84 or to the right?
Underneath 84.
So underneath, Sunny, this is when we take our partial quotient over here and we multiply it by the divisor.
Okay.
So under here is 10 times 4 equals 40.
So remember,
Okay.
like yesterday, we talked about that 84 being like 84 Hershey's Kisses. And you're putting them, you're going to figure out how many groups of 4 you can make out of the 84. So if you take away that 10, that's why the 10's on the outside, that's 10 groups of 4. So what is 10 times 4?
40.
That's why you take the 40 away from the 84, because now I have 44 Hershey's Kisses left. Now I have to figure out how many more groups of 4 can I make from the 44.
Okay. Thank you.
Alrighty. Okay, Soren, now I'm ready for you. What do I need to do to find my final quotient? Soren, unmute yourself. You're still muted, bud.
Here, I'm clicking it for you. Something should pop up that says unmute.
He said in the chat that he can't.
Yeah, I know. I see. That's why I told him to hit the button. Okay, we'll just move on to someone else.
It's all right. Here, Gracie. What am I going to do to find my final quotient? I have all my partial quotients on the side. What do I need to do?
you're gonna add all them?
Right. So now I need to make sure I do my adding correctly. So I have 0 plus 0 plus 1 is 1. And 1 plus 1 is 2. So what's my final answer, Gracie? 84 divided by 4 equals
21.
21. I'll write that answer here and on top of my bracket. All right, so Gracie, how am I gonna check to make sure that I did all my work right this time since I messed up last time?
You're gonna multiply 21 times 4.
Right. I'm gonna do 21 times 4. So I have 21 times 4 equals, I got 84. Does that match the dividend?
Yes.
Right. So that means this time I did my problem correctly. Alrighty. So now I'm going to put you into breakout rooms. Is that okay, Mrs. Shevchak?
Yep.
Alrighty. And we'll work in your group, we'll work on numbers 3 and 4.
Miss Gabine, why don't you set it up so maybe I take a breakout group and you take one for these two, and then give them a chance to do one with a partner. It's just going to be kind of hard because they're not going to have like a document cam to kind of talk them through, and at least both of us have one.
So I'll split into 2 groups.
So we'll do numbers 3 and 4, and then we'll just do them together, and then when we come back, maybe then we can let them try one on their own.
Sounds
So then we
good.
won't have to check them. We'll just do them with our groups. Kellyanna, what are you looking at?
I was checking over my paper to see if I was doing it right.
Okay, because I don't know if you got all my messages. Yesterday you didn't use partial quotients at all. So you need, I haven't gotten your updated papers yet, but do you have the message about you needing to watch the video from yesterday? Because you used the traditional method, okay? So I still need those because as of right now, you're counted as absent yesterday,
Okay.
okay? All right, here's my group. Let me get my camera all set up so you can focus in. What number are we starting on?
Number 3.
Number 3. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen with you. I want you to give me a thumbs up whenever you can see the problem. Okay, Sarah, go ahead and read number 3.
48 divided by 3.
What's my first step?
You make your bracket with the 48 on the inside and the 3 on the outside.
Very good. Okay, Gracie, after I draw my bracket, what do I do next?
You draw your work bar.
Good girl. Here's my work bar. So now, Gracie, what types of things should I be thinking? How many groups of what gets me to what?
How many groups can get me till 48?
How many groups of what, honey?
10.
No, we don't have any 10s here. How many groups of 3? 3 times what gets me close to 48? Where would you like to start?
3 times 10.
Okay, now I'm using a separate sheet of paper because I don't want to confuse myself over here. So over here, I'm going to write 3 times 10 equals what, Gracie?
30.
Okay, can I keep going?
Yes.
Okay, what's 3? What do you want to try next? Let's try to get closer.
3 times 20 equals 60.
Stop or keep going?
Stop.
Stop. Can I use 3 times 20?
No.
Too big. This 60 is way bigger than 48. So I'm going to go back here and I'm going to use this equation. So Gracie, what's going to go on the outside of my work bar right here?
10.
Very good. So I'm taking 10 groups of 3 away from this 48. So what number goes underneath my 48?
30.
Awesome. Now what do I do?
Subtract 48 minus 30.
Okay, Chase, what's 8 minus 0?
8,
4 minus 3.
1.
Okay, so I have 18 here. Am I finished?
No,
How do you know I'm not finished?
because it's bigger than the 3.
Very good. Okay, so now, Chase, I'm thinking 3 times what gets me close to 18?
4,
What's 3 times 4?
12.
Should I stop or keep going?
Keep going.
Right, because 12 is still smaller than 18. So let's try 3 times 5.
15.
Stop or keep going?
Keep going.
3 times 6.
18.
Stop or keep going?
Stop.
Look at that. You hit it right on the money. So Chase, what's going over here below the 18 on the outside?
6.
Okay, I'm going to make sure my 6 is in the ones place. Chase, 6 groups of 3 gives me what?
18.
Awesome. Cooper, what do I do next? Cooper with a C. What do I do next?
Subtract
What do I subtract?
18 by 18.
18 minus 18 equals what?
0.
So Cooper, since this number is 0 and it's smaller than 3, what does that tell me?
That we can't keep going.
We're finished. So now what do I do?
Now you add up the quotients.
Good. Good. So I'm going to draw a bar here and I'm going to put my addition symbol. What's 10 plus 6?
16.
So it looks like all my work's done. But Cooper, if I look at this on your paper, I'm going to say, I don't have an answer. Where do you need to make sure you put your answer? We have no answer for this question. Where does your answer need to go? Keep yourself unmuted. It's still your turn.
At the top?
At the top of your bracket. Yep. And you guys know me. I like to circle it, so I know. This is where your answer goes when you're using the bracket to divide. All right, ladies, it's your turn. Bella Watkins, read number 4 for me.
80 divided by 5.
Okay, so Bella, I'm going to draw my bracket. Where does the 5 go?
Outside of the bracket.
Good job. Where does my 80 go?
Inside the bracket.
And what's one more thing that I need to do before I can start my math?
Your work bar.
Great job. All right, Isla Paul, what am I thinking, honey?
Five times 10.
Okay, so over here, so Isla, 5 times 10 gives me what?
50.
We're trying to get this number as close to what without going over?
80.
Okay, are we there yet?
No.
Okay, what do you want to try next?
11.
What's 5 times 11?
55.
So we're still under 80. You want to keep going or you want to stop there?
Keep going.
Okay, what do you want to try next? 5 times what?
12.
Okay, now I'm not good at my 12s, but I bet you are. What is 5 times 12?
60.
Great job. Okay, you want to stop or excuse me. We're still under 80. Do you want to stop or keep going?
Keep going.
All right, what do you want to try next?
13.
I'm sorry, what was that, honey?
13.
13. Okay, what is 5 times 13?
65.
Stop or keep going?
Keep going.
Okay, now normally what I would say is I wouldn't recommend going into these because these really aren't our basic facts. But Isla, how are you getting these answers? I think I'm catching on to your pattern.
I add 5 every time to the
Okay.
answer.
Very good. So that is something that you could do, or you could also stop with your basic facts and then you would get a smaller number. But I see what you're doing. So, and I mean, 5s are pretty easy for us to count by. I'm pretty confident in your ability to count by 5s. So what is 5 times 14?
70.
Okay, stopper, keep going.
Keep going.
5 times 15.
75.
Stopper, keep going.
Keep going.
5 times 16.
80.
Stopper, keep going.
Stop.
What goes on the outside of my work bar?
16.
Very good. Isla, 16 groups of 5 equals what total?
80.
Very good. Okay, Caliana, what do I do next?
Subtract
Yep, what do I subtract?
80, 80 and 80.
What is 80 minus 80?
0.
So now what do I do?
Subtract 16 and the 0.
No. So this tells me I've made 16 groups of 5 and that equaled 80. So we took 80 from 80 and that means we have 0 left. So we have nothing left that we need to make more groups of. So when this number underneath this bar is lower than your divisor or 0, you know you're finished. So how do I know what my answer is? What is 80 divided by 5?
Why do you have makeup on?
Brooklyn,
You look like a clown.
get out.
Help her out, Hunter. How do we know what our answer is? Watch closely, Caliana. Caliana, you need to listen. Hunter, how do we know what our answer is?
Goes to 16, do 16 plus nothing.
Right, we look over here, Kelly, on the outside of the work bar, and I'm going to extend my line, and I'm going to add up everything over here. And Hunter told us 16 plus nothing equals 16. So Hunter, what is 80 divided by 5?
16.
And that goes on top. Wow, look at that. We had the same answer for both problems. Let's go ahead. I'm going to punch this in my calculator and check our work. 48 divided by 3. 16. Let's check this one. 80 divided by 5. And we are correct. Okay, before we go back, I guess Miss, I'll stop sharing. Well, I guess Miss Gabine is probably still working. Okay, so far, do you guys have any questions with either of those? Okay, let's do this. Go ahead and try number 6 on your own. Do 91 divided by 4, since we have some extra time. Oh, all right, looks like we're heading back. Go ahead and leave the breakout.
Once you get past the
All right, how did we do, Miss Shevchek? Good? All right. I know, I was about to say, I feel like we're still missing some friends. Here they're come. Here they're coming. All right. All righty.
Miss Gabine, I wasn't sure when we were coming back together, so I had my group just starting number 6 on their own. So I don't know
Okay.
if we could just have them all start number 6 and then we could check that one together.
Yeah, we can do. All right. So everyone, we're gonna do number 6 all together, or do it on your own. So here, I'll show you up here. I'm gonna do 91 divided by 4. So go ahead and set it up. Make sure you make your bracket, set it up and work on your own, and then we'll come back and do it together. And you can check to see if you did the right steps.
Tyler, are you working on number 6? All right, your pencil should be moving then. Once you have an answer, go ahead and type it in the chat so then Miss Gabine and I can kind of monitor how many people are finished and who has caught on.
Which one are we doing again?
Number 6. 91 divided by 4. So remember, you're going to be thinking, how many groups of 4 does it take me to get to whatever your target number is? 4 times what would get you close to 91?
Wait, so what do we put in the chat?
Your answer, your final answer. Nolan, check your remainder. Good job, Peyton. Right on the money.
All right, Hunter, you too, check your remainder.
I guess, Miss Gabine, do we see different chats? Because I don't even see numbers.
I think so, yeah, because I already see Jack, Elijah, Seth.
Oh, wow. Okay, let's see. If we give you the okay, go ahead and start number 5.
All right, so Jack, you can start number 5. Elijah, you too. Seth, Ilea, Gracie, Hunter, Nina, Sophia, Bella, Tegan, Sarah. Now, Chase, you need to check your quotient. You have the remainder right, but your quotient. See if maybe you did something like me and didn't add the partial quotients right. Yeah, there you go, Chase. Sunny, good job. start working on number 5.
Do we type in our answer for number 5 in the chat too?
Yep, you can do that too.
Yeah, so you can. We just might get them confused with who's typed in the first one.
You can put
Tyler.
5 next to your
No.
answer.
Now think, Tyler. We started with 91, and you're putting it into groups of 4. So could you have 182 in each group? No, because you only started with 91.
Do you want us to type in the answer for number 5?
Let's go ahead and check number 6. It looks like we have a lot of responses, and if you haven't responded yet, that must mean you're stuck somewhere. So let's go ahead and Miss Cabine, go ahead and you can check number. Now you should be looking at your book for number 6. If you had 22 remainder 3 and you want to go ahead and we gave you the go ahead to do 5, go ahead and work on number 5. But if you didn't get number 6 correct, please stop and watch the screen.
Alrighty. Well, when I set up my bracket, I'm putting my dividend on the inside. So I have 91 divided by 4. Alrighty, and then I need to think. 4 times what will get me close to 91, but without going over. Remember, I can think of multiples of 10. So Jack.
4 times 10 equals 40, but we have 91, so we can do more than that. And I know 4 times 20 equals 80, and if I do 4 times 30, that will equal 120. So I can't do that. So 4 times 20 is the way to go, and 4 times 20 is 80. So 91 minus 80 is 11.
Okay, you can stop there for a second. All right, so this is what Jack is talking about. He first thought 4 times 10 is 40. He's like, I think I can get closer. So he tried 4 times 20 equals 80. He was like, that's pretty close. Let me check and see if 4 times 30 would work. And he did 4 times 30, but he saw that's 120, and that's way too big to go into 91. So we can cross off 4 times 30, and we can use 4 times 20. So we can put our 20 over here. We know 20 times 4, like Jack said, is 80. And then when we subtract, what are we left with, Jack?
11.
11. So Jack, what does my 11 mean?
It is the answer to 91 minus 80.
All right, so 11 is what I still have left to divide. So can I still divide 11 by 4?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's bigger than 4. So how many groups am I going to take now, Jack?
I know that 4 times 1 equals 4, and that's not close enough to 11. So 4 times 2 equals 8, and that's pretty close, but not too close. And then we got 4 times 3, which equals 12. So I know 4 times 2 works. So I did 11, and 4 times 2 equals 8. So then I did 11 times 8, and 11 minus 8, and that gave me 3.
All right, so he did the same thing over here. He thought 4 times 1 first equals 4, and then he knew he could get closer, so he did 4 times 2, that equals 8. When he tried 4 times 3, that was too high, so we can't use 4 times 3, so we had to use 4 times 2. So we put our 2 on the side of our work bar over here. We did 2 times 4 equals 8, and that goes underneath 11. And then when we subtract, we're left with 3. All right, so Jack, how do we find our final answer?
We add 20 plus 2, and that equals 22, but we have a remainder of 3. So it's 20.
Right.
The answer is 22 remainder of 3.
Right, good job. So we add up our partial quotients. We put that up here, and then we can't forget about our remainder. So we write R3. All right, so for my friends that it was a little tricky. Do we see now how it kind of works? All right, Tegan, did you have a question?
I was gonna say if I could help for number 5. I did it.
Okay, give me 1 second. All right, and also you could still have gotten the same answer if you started with a group of 10. So remember, we could have started with just one group of 10, and then we would have taken another group of 10, and then a group of 2. So that would just be an extra step. So you could have 3 steps, but if you still got 22 as your final quotient over here and 3 as a remainder, you still did it right. It doesn't have to look exactly, we don't have to have the same exact steps. All right, so let's move on over to number 5. All right, so Tegan, how am I going to set up my bracket for this one?
You put 79 on the inside and 5 on the outside.
Right.
So I started out to see what 5 times 10 would be, and it was 50.
Mm-hmm.
I already decided that was kind of close, so I decided to just go with that one.
Okay. So then what do I need to write under my 79?
You need to write 50 under it and subtract 50 from 79, which equals 29.
Right, so I put 50 under here because 10 times 5 is 50. My 10 groups of 5 is 50 total. And then when I subtract, I'm left with 29. All right, Tegan, what'd you do next?
You can't just keep it with 29 because it's bigger than the 5.
Right,
so
it's bigger than our.
I did 5 times 10 again to see what it would be, but it's 50, which is over 29. So, but I know that 5 times 5 is 25, so I said to myself that 25 is pretty close to 29. So I subtracted 25 from 29.
All right, so you write your 5 over here on the side of your work bar.
Yes, I forgot to say that.
5 times 5 is 25, so you can write that underneath your 29.
Eliana, how are you writing any of this down when you don't have your paper or anything in your hand, dear?
I found that 29.
You're gonna have an exit ticket to do after this, so it's really important that you're doing your work right now.
I found that 29 minus 25 equals 4.
Right.
So then for my remainder, I had 4, but I still had to add up 10 and 5.
Right.
So 10 plus 5 is 15. And I ended up with my answer as 15, remainder 4.
Nice work, Tegan. Very good job. And you did a great job explaining what you were doing, how you were thinking about 5 times 10 and 5 times 5. Sarah, do you have a question?
I have another way to do number 5.
Oh, did you take different groups? What did you do, Sarah?
So I know that 5 times 14 equals 70. So I did that.
You put a 14.
79 minus
Yeah.
70 equals 9, minus 5 equals 4. So that's
Right.
how I got the remainder.
Yeah, so sometimes you can have different numbers in your steps, but you still got the same answer because you took 14 groups first and then one more group. So you still got 15 and you still had a remainder of 4. So see, that's an example of how it can be a little bit different. Alrighty, are we feeling better about partial quotients now that we've had some more practice?
Yes.
Cooper, stick in your head now. What are you confused on?
Nothing.
So you're okay? You feel all right? Alrighty. So who remembers if we looked on Schoology, what do we need to do next today? I'm going to show you it right here before. Nolan, what do we still have left to do today?
The exit ticket and extra math.
Right, so we still have extra math and we still need to do our exit ticket. So our exit ticket for today is right in your student workbook. So that's what I'm showing you right here. So it's on page 95 and we're only doing number 7, number 9, and number 11. So you can circle those right now so that you remember that we only need to do number 7, number 9, and number 11. And make sure you're on page 95. So it should say lesson 18 homework on the top.
I have a question.
Yes, Tegan. I think that's Tegan asking.
Are we supposed to do those today?
Right, yeah, that's for today for your exit ticket. So you'll do it in your book, do the work here, and then once you're done, then you can go online onto Schoology and type in your answers in the box and show your work using the pen tool. All right, let me go back and so is everyone clear on what